estamos en el último y cuarto día del Mobile World Congress 2012 que se está celebrando en la ciudad de Barcelona, que para aquellos que participaban del show, aquellos que han leído las notas sobre el transporte, no sé si ya en algún momento hemos dicho que el transporte estaba todo bien. Lo que sí hemos tenido han sido varias concentraciones en la entrada del evento, sobre todo en el día de ayer, que nos evitaron la salida y crearon un poquito de confusión. Pero bueno, dicho esto, es el cuarto día, estamos bastante cansados, pero tenemos la visita de George Gillet, que es de la asociación GSM, de la parte del Wireless Intelligence, que sería como el brazo de research que tiene la asociación GSM para tener datos de mercado que compartir con sus afiliados y con el mercado en general. Así que vamos a hablar con él en inglés sobre lo que él ha estado viendo en el Congreso y tratar algunos de los temas importantes que hemos visto esta semana. Welcome to Telesemana.
Thank you.
With a déjà vu.
Indeed.
Indeed. So tell us, this is the last day of the show, so probably we've heard what we had to hear. We've seen what we had to see. Supposedly this is a big show, so perhaps not, but so tell me what would be, you're going to act as a journalist for us, so do a wrap-up of what you're taking with you to the GSMA headquarters, although you are in Avignon, but that's a secret.
I think that there are three key things that I think were really different from last year, for instance. The first thing is that we talked a lot about the connected economy and a networked society. It started with a presentation from Bill Ford Jr., who came to represent the car company and explain how how the mobile industry needs to cooperate with the car industry and try to connect 4 billion cars to one network and bring a lot of opportunities to the mobile ecosystem. Then yesterday we heard the CEO of Ericsson talking about the networked society, and he brought a lot of examples about how things are not only about the smartphone itself, but all the a lot of things that we actually would not think about on a normal basis when you're part of the industry. Everything moves really fast, but you never think about connecting a bicycle to the mobile ecosystem. He brought a lot of examples, and he had a
So why would you connect the bike to the? What was the example specifically?
The example he brought was the Copenhagen wheel, which is a bicycle which has been developed by the MIT Sensible Lab, and they basically measure a lot of things like CO2 emission and then like traffic congestion on the bicycle, which is pretty innovative, I guess. He also had other executives coming on stage talking about the music industry and talking about the finance industry and how all those industries are basically connecting to the mobile networks. The second theme, outside of the kind of collaboration with other industries, is that we heard a lot of operators saying that we need to find the right balance with regards to regulations. We had the CEO of Vodafone making quite a statement on that, and we heard almost instantly the EU commissioner replying and saying, hang on a minute, I don't really agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, because usually operators see the regulators kind of sometimes as the enemy. It feels like regulators are evil for the industry, in a sense. Maybe it's a strong word, but just to make it clear. And it seems, and we've complained in Latin America many times that regulators are very slow in moving forward. But at the end of the day, when you talk to the regulators, you also see that they have limitations. They are not a mobile operator. They don't have the revenue stream that an operator has. And perhaps Ofcom in the UK, they have a nice budget. But many regulators around the world don't have big budgets. And they have a tough job putting things together.
Well, I think that the key message is that they are helping operators. They make the spectrum available, and especially in Latin America, we see that more and more the regulators are being very proactive at distributing spectrum, especially with the upcoming networks like LTE networks, next generation networks. They are trying to avoid making the mistakes they've done in the past with 3G spectrum. So that is definitely helping operators. On the other hand, you have high taxes on handsets, for instance, and that is something that needs to change.
As I was saying, regulators are evil.
Yeah, you say it.
No, as I was saying, just kidding. But taxation is an issue. Taxation is an issue.
Spectrum availability is an issue. So, that leads me to the third point I want to talk about is the fact that we need more affordability in the handset ecosystem. So we heard Sunil Mittal from Bharti Airtel talking about the need for a sub $50 handset or smartphone for markets like India, where affordability is key to the adoption of new next generation networks or to support the growth behind smartphone and data traffic. We heard the same from America Mobile yesterday. They were saying that we need cheaper devices. And yesterday I went to the BRIC keynote. So the representatives from Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa met and discussed the challenges in their respective countries. And that was definitely the key common point, is that we need affordability, we need cheaper devices, we need regulators to help us with that. And obviously we need device vendors to look into pricing issues.
Actually, I think there was a story here in the Congress. It was Telefonica announcing that they're not going to subsidize any more handsets, that they're going to finance handsets, which I think it's kind of I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that?
No, I heard about it before. I didn't hear it from the show. But
I mean, the announcement was done during this week. I don't know if it was part of the show, but it was done during the show. That Telefonica wasn't going to subsidize here in Spain more handsets. They're going to finance handsets. I don't know exactly the difference. Probably something with accounting, but I thought when they subsidized my handset, they were actually financing it.
The thing is that we've noticed that the subsidies on smartphones are definitely hindering heavily the margins from operators, and that is one big challenge that they need to tackle. Right? They spend so much money subsidizing that the margins are shrinking dramatically. So cutting subsidies is one thing. The refinancing that they talk about is something that we see in other markets as well, where instead of subsidizing, you can pay in different installments. So they are looking for new business models, basically, to try to stabilize margins, and especially when you look at the growth behind the smartphone market, it's so tremendous that they really need to control that. Otherwise, it's not leading to a positive environment, I guess.
What I'm wondering with this new strategy from Telefonica or other operators is that they realize now that the subsidy model is not working. I mean, how come when they started this frenzy of trying to gain smartphone market share, let's say, for data services, they were kind of happy subsidizing it, and now suddenly we need cheaper handsets and we are not subsidizing anymore. It's like this kind of shift is what makes me a little bit suspicious of some of the things that sometimes operators request the market.
Well, it's I guess it's all linked to how you introduce innovation, right? So initially you need customers you need first to educate customers, and then you need to make sure that the adoption is triggered really rapidly, and that everyone just understand the product and the proposition and then go for it. So subsidies are one element of it. So you make it affordable for them, and people will just go and buy smartphones. The other thing that they talked about is how they have to reduce the cost of maintenance of networks, or try to make it more efficient. And they say that aside of subsidies, so you've got the fact that networks are like a highway with no one basically paying for the maintenance of it. So they are trying to find new business models, whether it's subsidies related, whether it's related to the cost of maintenance of the network. They really need to find some solution to make it more efficient, because in markets like Spain, for instance, where the saturation is really high, they really need to find a way to make their profits and margins more stable, because it's quite challenging for them.
Well, you mentioned the highway thing, and operators saying, okay, somebody has to pay, and I think that was Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
I don't remember the CEO. I don't know if it was from Team or Vodafone, or somebody said, okay,
I've met too many CEOs.
Oh no, from Bharti. I think it was from Bharti. It said, okay, if Google or the over-the-top are not paying, to go in our highway, then we're gonna go and ask the user to pay for that.
It's a formidable debate, yeah.
Yes. So, but at the end of the day, they say that, and then they go back and say, no, these guys have to pay. I mean, it's kind of a strange threat that they're gonna go against the user, but we know they're not gonna do that at this point. you know, it seems to me that they keep asking for somebody to pay for it instead of finding innovative ways of monetizing properly their networks. And I think perhaps Google should pay, but perhaps operators should be able to compete, perhaps, and monetize some of these things. So I don't know, what is your view or your recommendations from wireless intelligence?
Well, I think it's quite it's like the chicken and egg debate, right? On one hand, you've got the network, which is delivering the data traffic, and on the other hand, you have the people like Google or Facebook, providing the apps, and that. So the one is saying that, well, we give you the apps, we give operators the opportunity to increase data traffic and make profits from it, and on the other hand, you have operators saying, well, hang on a minute, that costs us a lot of money to maintain the networks up to speed. But, and it's all about linked to investment. Right? We need to make more investments. We need to go into like next generation networks, and in order to do that, we need to find a way to. Yeah, we need the investment. So I don't know whether I can't really say whether it's right thing to ask Google to pay or vice versa. I don't really want to go into the specifics of that, but I think there is for operators when you say like they need to find a way to monetize it. I think it's quite a challenge, and we will definitely see business model coming up, because that's a critical time, and they definitely say, as Barty Airtel said, that it's happening now, and they will find solutions.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying this is because they keep asking for these guys to pay, but these guys are not paying, and regulators are not going to step in and say, guys, you have to pay. That would be very, very strange. So at the end of the day, if you keep asking these guys to pay, but if these guys are not in your network, is anybody going to buy your smartphones? No, so it's kind of, there has to be another way rather than just complaining that they are.
It's all about the partnership between the two, so they need to find the right balance. But I'm sure they will find a way.
They probably need to speed up things in terms of finding that balance.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for stopping by, and see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.